Good afternoon. Today's topic is binomial coefficients and identities. So, in the earlier class, while we were studying combination, we have already understood that whenever we are speaking about combination, that is NCR, NCR is also known as the binomial coefficient. So, this is also known as the binomial coefficient. And the binomial coefficient is basically the number of R combinations from a set with n elements. From a set with n elements. And this is, instead of NCR, we can even write it as NR. Okay, NCR or NR. And this number is basically called your binomial coefficient, because these numbers occur as coefficient in the expansion of powers of binomial expression such as a plus b whole power n. So this is your binomial expressions, and binomial coefficient occurs in this binomial expression whenever we expand the binomial expression a plus b whole power n. This NCR is in the formula. Now, what do you mean by binomial theorem? So let's see that. Suppose if x and y be variables, x and y be the variables, and n be a non-negative integer, then we define x plus y whole power n as, x plus y whole power n is defined as j is equal to 0 to n, ncj or nj, x power n minus j, and y power j. So this is your binomial theorem. It can also be written as nc0 x power n, nc1 x power n minus 1 into y power 1. So here y will be 0, x power n into y power 0 over here. So here it will be y power 1 plus nc2 x power n minus 2 y power 2, and so on up to ncn minus 1 x power n minus 1 y power excuse me. So over here we will have x power 1 y power n minus 1, and then finally ncn will be plus ncn x power 0 y power n. So basically when we are starting our expansion, we will have x power n, and it keeps on decreasing, and by the end of the expansion x power will turn to 0, while y's power starts from 0 and will keep on increasing till it reaches y power n. So the coefficient, if you remember, I said NCR is equal to NCn minus R. This was something we have discussed in the last topic. Now similarly, we can say that NCj is equal to NCn minus j. Okay, so now we will see an example. What is the expansion of x plus y whole power 4? So for this, let's take the solution. We have the equation given as x plus y whole power 4. So our n is equal to 4. N is equal to 4. So let's expand it. First we can write this. J is equal to 0 to 4. 4j x power 4 minus j y power j. Now we have to keep substituting j is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 till 4. So this will be 4c naught x power 4 y power 0 plus 4c1 x power 4 minus 1 y power 1 plus 4c2 x power 4 minus 2 y square plus 4c3 x power 4 minus 3 y power 3, and then finally 4c4 x power 4 minus 4 y power 4. So 4c naught, we have to find the value of 4c naught. This will be equivalent to 4 factorial by 4 factorial into 0 factorial n factorial. So if you remember, it was n factorial by n minus r factorial into r factorial. So 4c naught is basically 1. So this will give us x power 4 only, y power 0 is anyway 1. And 4c1 will give us the value 4 factorial by 3 factorial into 1 factorial. So this is 4 only. So this will give us so over here this will give us 4x cube y. After that we have 4c2. So for 4c2 it will give us 4 factorial by 2 factorial into 2 factorial, which is 4 factorial is 4 into 3, 12, 24 by 2 factorial each is 2, so 4, so 6. So this gives us 6x square y square. Okay, then again 4c3. So if you remember, I have just said that NCR is equal to NCN minus R. So 4c1, let's write it over here. 4c1 will be equal to 4c4 minus 1, which is 3. So 4c3 and 4c1 values are equal, which are 4 each. So let's write 4xy cube. And then again 4c0 and 4c4 will be equal by using the same formula. So this will be equivalent to y power 4. Okay, so the expansion of x plus y whole power 4 is given as follows. So this is the expansion of your solution. This is the solution. Okay, now apart from that, we can also get questions of this topic based on finding the coefficients. So let's see an example. Find the coefficient of x power 12 y power 13 in the expansion of x plus y whole power 25. So over here, if we want to find x power 12 y power 13, we have to know, let's compare our formula. So n is equal to 25, x plus y whole power n is 25, and let's compare j is equal to 0 to n j x power n minus j y power j. So now x power 12 y power 13. So your j value will be the power of y. So n is given as 25, j is equal to 13. So now the next step is x plus y whole power 25, and we want this coefficient. So in this case, we have to find the coefficient of x power 12 y power 13. So we need 25c 13. Okay, since j value is 13, 25c 13 will be equivalent to 25 factorial by 25 minus 13 factorial into 13 factorial itself. So this will be equivalent to 25 factorial by 13 factorial into 12 factorial. You can either compute it or leave it as it is. So this is the coefficient. So whenever you're finding the coefficient of any term, the coefficient will be some numerical value. It won't include x and y variables. That is very, very important and to be remembered, that whenever you're taking the coefficient, you're only supposed to include the numerical value. Now similarly, let's take another example. What is the coefficient of x power 12, y power 13 in the expansion of 2x minus 3y whole power 25? So now 2x minus 3y, we have seen the formula for x plus y whole power n, that is the symbol was plus. How should we compute when the symbol is minus? So over here we can write it as 2x plus of minus 3y whole power 25. Now in this case, what is our n value? Again is 25. We are supposed to find y power 13, so our j value is 13. So now let's expand this over here. So this can be written as j is equal to 0 to 25. 25 cj 2x power 25 minus j into minus 3y whole power j. So to find the coefficient, we are supposed to take the expansion of x power 12 and y power 13. J is 13 over here. So let's substitute the values. So we need 25 c 13, 2 power 25 minus 13, which will be equivalent to 2, and minus 3 power 13. So the solution will be something in this way: minus 25 factorial by 13 factorial into 12 factorial, 2 power 12, 3 power 13. So this is the solution for the coefficient. Now we have to look at some important formulas which we can remember. So now for this can be written as a note. Suppose if n is a non-negative integer or it is a positive integer including 0, non-negative integer, then k is equal to 0 to n. nck is written as equivalent to 2 power n. Okay, so if you have 4c0 plus 4c1 plus 4c2 plus 4c3 plus 4c4, it will be equivalent to 2 power 4. Let's verify it because we already know the values of 4c0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4c0 was 1, 4c1 is 4, and this is 6, and again 4 and 1. So this will be equivalent to 1 plus 4, 5, 6, 11, and then 15 and 16. 16 can be written as 2 power 4, which is proving your equality. Okay. So next, similarly, we can also say if n is a positive integer, second point to be remembered is if n is a positive integer, then k is equal to 0 to n minus 1 power k, and k will be equal to 0. So basically what I am saying is, if instead of writing 4c0 plus 4c1, alternatively I get a negative sign, that is for odd powers I will get a negative sign for the coefficients, then it will be equal to 0 because 1 and minus 1 will get cancelled. Similarly, in this way, the minus 1 power k and k will be equal to 0 if n is a positive integer. Now we have a topic known as Pascal identity and triangle. Before that, let's see the definitions. A binomial expression is the sum of two terms such as x plus y. More generally, these terms can be products of constants and variables. We can use counting principles to find the coefficient in the expansion of x plus y whole power n, where n is a positive integer. And let x and y be the variables, then your formula is defined as follows: x plus y whole power n, j is equal to 0 to n, ncj x power n minus j y power j. It is expanded as follows, which I have already explained. To find the coefficient, we have already seen the example. It is easier with the help of an example. So this coefficient, it is minus this example we have already seen. So now the next topic is actually something known as Pascal's triangle. So this is here Pascal's triangle. Now, what do you mean by a Pascal's identity or triangle? Whenever I am speaking about Pascal's triangle, there is one important formula to be remembered, that is n plus 1 ck is equal to nck minus 1 plus nck. Okay, so this is basically whenever if I take an example, 4c3 will be equal to, so your n is 3, k is also 3, then 4c3 will be equivalent to 4c2 plus n is 3. So let me change that. 3c2 plus 3c3. Okay, this we can actually prove with the help of an example. Before that, let's check it. 4c3 value was 4. 3c2 value will be 3 factorial by 3 minus 2 is 1 factorial, and then 2 factorial, which is basically 3, the result of this. While 3c3 will be equal to 3 factorial by 0 factorial into 3 factorial, which is equal to 1. So 1 plus 3 is 4. Now let's see this with the help of an example. So the triangle that we are studying is known as a Pascal's triangle. For Pascal's triangle, when two adjacent binomial coefficients in this triangle are added, the binomial coefficient in the next row between these two coefficients is produced. What do you mean by this? So 0 factorial, if you remember, is given as 1. Okay, and after that we have 0c0, okay, which is 1. Next we have 1c0 and 1c1. So 1c0 will also give you 1 if you find it out. 1c1 will also give you 1. After that we have 2c0, 2c1, 2c2. Now what I am saying is, whenever we have nc0 or ncn, it will be equal to 1. That is, nc0 is equal to ncn is equal to 1. So all our first numbers and the last numbers in this Pascal triangles are 1. So let's write 2c0 and 2c2 value is 1. So this is, both of them are 1. And with the definition of the Pascal triangle, the middle coefficient, that is the coefficient in between the upper two coefficients, will be the sum of it. So 2c1 I am saying is 2. Let's verify it. 2c1, 2 factorial by 1 factorial into 1 factorial, which is simply 2. Okay, so now this is done. After that we have 3c0, 3c1, 3c2 and 3c3. So 3c0 and 3c3 are both 1s. Let me erase this part. Okay, and now we have 3c1 over here. This is 3c1 value. So 3c1 is 1 plus 2. It gives us 3. Similarly, 3c2 is also 3. How can I say that? I can say it by the following rule. NCR is equal to NCN minus R. 3c1 is equal to 3c3 minus 1, which is 3C2. So 3C1 and 3C2 values are equal and they are both equal to 3. You can verify it. Similarly, after that, we can write 4C0 and 4C1. This is 1 plus 3, 4. And then again 1 plus 3, 4. In between we need, this is 4C0, 4C1. We need, this is 4C4 and 4C3. What about 4C2? 4C2 will be the addition of these two numbers. So this will result in 6. And if you remember, 4C2 was 6. So we can keep on continuing this Pascal's triangle and it will give us the coefficient, binomial coefficients of every value for n where n is a positive integer. This is the overview of the Pascal's triangle that I have just drawn. So over here I have drawn it till here 4C0 and this is 4C4, and the next row continues in the same fashion. That is, if you take the example of 6C4, 6C5 and 7C5, so it will satisfy the property of NCR minus 1 plus NCR is equal to n plus 1 CR. Okay, so this is your example of 6C4, 6C5 and 7C5. Let's see that, and with that we will continue in the same fashion. So if you take this example, so over here it shows that 6C4 plus 6C5 is equal to 7C5. After that, the next topic is generalized permutations and combinations. In the generalized permutation and combination, we will study what happens when we are supposed to take permutations with repetitions or combinations with repetitions, and if the object, so every time we were speaking about distinguishable objects, but if suppose we have indistinguishable objects, then in that case what kind of formulas are we supposed to use? So these type of problems will be taken in generalized permutations and combinations. So one scenario will be elements being used repeatedly. Then, or for another instance, a letter or digit may be used more than once on a license plate. Also, some counting problems may involve indistinguishable objects. That is, each of the element in your set won't be different, it will be same. So indistinguishable objects. Till now, whatever problems we were taking for distinguishable objects. And for instance, if we want to check the rearrangement of the word Mississippi, so in this case, what is the number of permutations you will get? All those kind of things we will be studying in this topic, which is generalized permutations and combination. So over here, permutations with repetition, combination with repetition, permutations with indistinguishable objects, and distributing objects into boxes. So the first topic is permutations with repetition. So for permutations with repetition, how are we supposed to take, what do you mean by first permutation with repetition? So suppose if we have a string of length r, and if your string's length is r, and what are the elements that you are taking to form the string is, it can be formed by English alphabets. Okay, then what is, how many strings can you form? So for this, if you take r blank spaces and you are supposed to fill these blank spaces are totally R. Okay, and each of them can be filled with 26 alphabets. It did not say that you are supposed to fill each of them with a unique alphabet. So each of them can be filled with 26 alphabets. So in this case 26. Then how many such strings can be followed? By the product rule, it will be 26 into 26 into 26, so on R times. So basically it will be 26 power R. So number of R permutations of a set with n elements is given as, so if we are speaking about the number of R permutations, that is we were filling R blanks, okay, with how many elements? With a set of n elements, or of a set of n objects. N and R over here represent here number of elements and the number of spaces to be filled of a set of n objects. When is it? With repetition allowed. So this is very important. When repetition is not allowed, the formula is NPR. But when repetition is allowed, then your formula changes to n power R. So this is your formula with repetition allowed. What about without repetition? Without repetition is what we have already studied. It is NPR, or basically n factorial by n minus R factorial. So these are the two different cases of permutations. So these are the two different cases, two cases of permutation. First is n power R and the other is NPR. It is in this case of repetition, while this is without repetition. Okay. So now, apart from this, we can take so the other example is, suppose if you have 25 true or false questions in an examination, how many different ways, find the different ways can a student write the examination if he or she can also choose to leave the answer blank. So apart from true or false, we can also leave the question blank. Okay. And what are the different ways one can answer the question? So now for the first question, so if the question number 1, the answer can be written as either true or false or blank. How many choices do you have? For the first question, you have 3 choices. Similarly, for the second question, we will have 3 choices, and this will continue for all the 25 questions. For each and every question, we have 3 choices each. Now, if you take the product rule, that is, it will be 3 into 3 into 3 and so on up to 3. How many times do we have to multiply it? 25 times. So the solution will be 3 power 25. So this is another question with repetition. Okay. So now, the number of R permutations of a set of n objects with repetition allowed is n power R. That is, there are n ways to select an element of the set for each of the R positions. How I have shown you for the earlier question where we had R blanks and we had 26 choices each for each of the R blanks. If you remember the answer for this, how many strings of length R can be formed from the uppercase letters of the English alphabet, which was 26 power R. Okay. Hence, by the product rule, there are n power R permutations with repetition. So this is with respect to repetition. Now the next is the number of R permutations of a set of n objects. If you are taking, so over here R is the length of the string, and how many are the objects in the English alphabet, which are 26. So 26 power R. The next is combinations with repetition. The number of R combination from a set with n elements with repetition, when repetition of elements is allowed, it is n plus r minus 1 CR. So this is denoted by n plus r minus 1 CR. Okay, so this is basically equivalent to, this is also equivalent to n plus r minus 1 Cn minus 1. So in this case, each R combination of a set with n elements when repetition allowed can be represented by a list of n minus 1 bars and R stars. So in this case, let's see an example first. For combination with repetition, so the formula for combination with repetition is n plus r minus 1 CR, or it is equivalent to n plus r minus 1 Cn minus 1. Okay, and what is the R combination from a set with n elements when repetition is allowed? So in this case, let's see the example. Suppose we have a cookie shop. So we have a cookie shop which has 4 different kind of cookies. 4 kind of cookies. And how many different ways? Different ways to select 6 cookies. Now in this case, the number of ways to choose 6 cookies is the 6 combination. So we want 6 combination of a set with how many elements? We have 4 elements in the set, of a set with 4 elements. Okay, so over here you have to understand that this is very important. The 6 is the value of R, while 4 is the value of n. Okay, so now if you substitute it in the formula, it will be 4 plus 6 minus 1 C6, or it can also be written as 4 plus 6 minus 1 C5. N minus 1, so this will be actually C, n is 4, so n minus 1 will be 3. Okay, so basically it will be 9C6 or 9C3. Both of them are same if you remember. NCR is equal to NCn minus R. So the solution for this, for the question will be 9 factorial by 6 factorial into 3 factorial. So it will be 3 into 4 into 7, the final solution. So this is the combination with repetition. Now similarly, we can see another example. So the question is, how many different outcomes or results are possible by tossing 10 similar coins? Now in this case, if we are tossing 10 similar coins, the number 10, is it R or N? So basically when we are tossing the coins, this is similar to, we are taking R as 10. Okay, why are we taking R as 10? Because in the case of combinations with repetition, whenever you are taking the R is the number of combination, and what are the number of elements in the set? So you have, for a coin, you will get the 2 outcomes which are either tails or heads. Okay, so this tail or head is the element in the set. Or you can even classify this problem as, if you have 2 boxes, how many ways can you place 10 balls in the 2 boxes, which the balls are all the same? Okay, so this problem can be written even in this way, that is, the tail and heads are the 2 elements and you are tossing the coin 10 coins, you're causing the same coin 10 times, so that is your R value, and N value is equal to 2. So if you take your formula, it is N plus R minus 1 CR. So 2 plus 10 minus 1 C10. This is equal to 11 C10, and you can always remember that NC N minus 1 is equal to N again. So N over here is 11, N value is 11. So 11 C10, NC1 and NC N minus 1 will be equal. Both of them will be equal to N. So 11 C10 will be equal to 11. Even if you want to check it, it can be written as follows: 11 factorial by 10 factorial into 1 factorial, which will give you the result 11. So that is, whenever you are tossing the coin, whenever you're tossing 10 similar coins, the different outcomes possible are 11 possible outcomes are there. So this is combination with repetition. So this basically summarizes, this table summarizes the formulas for counting permutations and combinations with and without repetition. Whenever we are talking about permutations, whenever repetition is not allowed, so let's focus on this table. When repetition is not allowed, the formula will be your simple formula NPR, or it is written as N factorial by N minus R factorial. What about repetition when allowed? In the case of permutations, it is N power R. Similarly, in the case of combinations, when repetition is not allowed, it is simply NCR. When repetition is allowed, it will be N plus R minus 1 CR. Okay, so this is the table which has to be remembered when you're whenever you're solving problems with respect to permutation and combinations. So in the question, it will be mentioned that whether repetitions are allowed or they are not allowed. After that, the next topic is permutations with indistinguishable objects. So what do you mean by permutations with indistinguishable objects? When the number of different permutations of, we are speaking about n objects, the number of different permutations of n objects, where in this n objects there are n1 objects of type 1, where there are n1 objects of type 1, n2 objects of type 2, and this continues with nk objects of type k. Okay, basically if we have n, total number of objects is n. Okay, in this same type of objects, we have some number of same type of objects of first type, so the number is n1. Of the second type, we have n2. Okay, the number of objects of second type is n2, and there are similarly many similar type of objects. So if there are k similar type of objects, then the number of that objects is nk. Now if you want to give the formula for the same, it will be written as n factorial by n1 factorial into n2 factorial into n3 factorial till nk factorial. So for the same problem, we can see the solution and an example in this way. How many different strings can be made by reordering the letters of the word success? So there are totally how many letters in the word success? So there are 7 letters in the word success. Okay, so let's name the letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, in the 7 letters, there are how many total different objects? totally there are only 4 different objects. Although there are 7 letters, the distinguishable elements or objects are only 4. What are those? You have S, U, C, E. Now for C, it is the object of type 1, and how many total S are there in the letter success? We have total 3 S in the success, in the word success. Now after that, what about U? How many U's are there? There is only 1 U. For C, if you see, there are 2 C's in the success word. So over here we have 2 objects of type C and only 1 E. Now first and foremost, if you are creating the number of permutations, you can take these 7 blanks, and if the objects were indistinguishable, we could have filled it in 7 factorial ways. But since the objects are similar, there can be S can be placed in 7C 3 ways. Okay, so that is, you can fill any of the 3 blanks with S in 7C 3 ways. Now after the filling of S, how many ways can you place C? There are 4 blanks left and there are 2 C's. So this can be written in 4C2. Why am I using the multiplication? Because we are taking different tasks. Okay, there are different ways to fill different blanks. So that is why force multiplication or product rule. After that, if you fill C and S, there will be only 2 blanks left. And in the 2 blanks, we have to place 1 C. And in the last blank, we have to anyway place 1 E. So if you take this, then it will be written as 7C3 into 4C2 into 2C1 and then 1C1. You can use the formulas for NCR and then solve it. Or else there is another way to do the same problem, which is, so suppose if you have this word success contains how many S? There are 3 S. S are 3. There are 2 C's, 1 E and 1 U. Now to solve it, what you can do, total letters is 7, and the formula that I have already shown you is n factorial by n1 factorial into n2 factorial and so on up to nk factorial. Total number of letters is 7. 7 factorial by, what are the type S? There are 3 letters of type S. So 3 factorial. What about n2? There are 2 letters of type C, so 2 factorial into 1 factorial into 1 factorial, which will be equal to the same result that we got earlier, that is 420. So this is the formula for permutations with indistinguishable objects, that is the same kind of objects. After that, the same formula is written as follows. The number of different permutations of n objects, where there are n1 indistinguishable objects of type 1, n2 indistinguishable objects of type 2 and nk indistinguishable objects of type k. Now the next topic is distributing objects into boxes. Whenever we are distributing objects into boxes, there will be 4 different types of distribution of objects into boxes. So this problem is of 4 different types, and many counting problems can be solved by counting the ways objects can be placed into boxes. Now here, what are the 4 different cases? The 4 different cases can be classified as follows. So we will solve a problem for each of the case. The first case will be distinguishable objects and distinguishable boxes. That is, there are different boxes and different objects. Now the second case will be indistinguishable objects. That is, the objects are of the same type while the boxes are different. Indistinguishable objects and distinguishable boxes. Then your third scenario is distinguishable objects and indistinguishable boxes. And then finally, indistinguishable, both of the boxes and objects are indistinguishable. That is, they are of the same type. Now, for the first scenario, this is your first scenario. First scenario, second, third, and fourth. For the first scenario, the question is, in this case, how many ways are there to distribute hands of 5 cards to each of 4 players from the standard deck of 52 cards? Now, this case is similar to what we just did earlier, that is permutations with indistinguishable objects. Okay, so the first case is similar to this, that is, let's see the example and the formula. So consider the case where we are placing distinguishable objects into distinguishable boxes. Okay, so the number of ways to distribute n distinguishable objects into k distinguishable boxes, so that ni objects are placed into box I, ni objects placed into box I, where what is the I value? I value is 1, 2 and so on up to k. The formula is written as follows: n factorial by n1 factorial into n2 factorial and so on up to nk factorial. That is, in the first box you are placing n1 number of objects, in the second box you are placing n2 number of objects, and this continues till nk. Now for the same, this is the formula, very important and to be remembered. Now if we take an example, the example is distributing, find the ways of distributing hands of 5 cards to each of 4 players from your standard deck, from the standard deck of cards. So what are the number of cards in the standard deck? The number of cards is 52. So your n value is 52. And what did I say about placing the objects, ni objects, into box I? So here each player can be considered as a box. So one is box 1, box 2, box 3 and box 4. Since we have 4 players, consider them as 4 boxes. Now in each box, how many cards are we placing? In each box we are placing 5 cards each. So in box 2 also 5 cards, and same is the case with box 3 and box 4. So if you remember the formula, it was n factorial by n1 factorial into n2 factorial till nk. But over here, how many boxes do we have? We have 4 boxes. So we will take n3 factorial and n4 factorial. After that, what is the value of n? N can be easily written as 52. So 52 factorial. Now what will be the value of n1? In box 1, how many objects are you placing? You are placing 5 objects. So 5 factorial into 5 factorial into 5 factorial into 5 factorial. Now what about the remaining number of cards? Are you placing the remaining number of cards somewhere? Yes, it will be with the person distributing the deck of cards. So that person who is distributing the deck of cards will be considered as box 5, and he will have how many cards are you placing with him? So you have removed 20 cards from the standard deck of 52, so there will be 32 cards remaining. So this box 5 has 32 cards. You even have to take that value. So over here, you have to write 32 factorial. That is, apart from the 4 players, the person handing out the cards will have 32 cards left. And those 32 cards are also need to be mentioned. That is the number of ways distributing hands of 5 cards to each of 4 players. Okay, so the formula will be 52 factorial by 5 factorial into 5 factorial 4 times, and then finally 32 factorial. So this is the first case of distinguishable objects and distinguishable boxes. Now the second case is indistinguishable objects and distinguishable boxes. So in this case is similar to placing n indistinguishable objects into k distinguishable boxes. Okay, so for this it is the same as counting the number of n combinations with k elements when repetition is allowed. When repetition is allowed. So what was the formula for the same? The formula was n plus r minus 1 CR. Okay, so the same formula will apply for your case number 2, that is, which is indistinguishable objects and distinguishable boxes. Let's see an example. How many ways are there to place 10 indistinguishable balls? So the balls are indistinguishable, and what are the number of balls? The number of balls is 10 into 8 distinguishable boxes. Okay, so this is balls and this is the number of boxes. So over here, what will be your n and r? N will be 8 since it is the number of boxes you are placing in. And what are you placing in the boxes? You are placing 10 balls. So r is 10. And what is the formula we are supposed to use? The formula is n plus r minus 1 CR, which is equal to 8 plus 10 minus 1 C10, which is 17 C10. Okay, so this is the solution for placing 10 indistinguishable balls into 8 distinguishable boxes. So these are the same thing which I have written, but the formula is written clearly over here. So the first case is distinguishable objects and distinguishable boxes. It is similar to permutations with repetitions. Okay, permutations with indistinguishable objects. I'm sorry, the permutations with indistinguishable objects. And the second case is similar to, this is your second case. The second case is similar to combinations with repetition. This is similar to combinations with repetition. Okay, and the first case was similar to permutations with indistinguishable objects. And then we have the third case. The third case is distributing distinguishable objects into indistinguishable boxes. That is, the objects are distinguishable while the boxes are indistinguishable. What do you mean by that? Suppose if we take, there are 14 ways to put 4 employees into 3 indistinguishable offices. That is, the offices are similar, but the 4 employees are different. How many ways can we put them? So suppose this can be solved in this way. There are 3 rooms mentioned which are all similar, and we can have the employees as the employees will obviously be different, so they are distinguishable. The employees are A, B, C, D. Okay, and we are saying already we know the solution that there are 14 different ways. 14 ways. What is the way? The first is you can place all of them in the same room, or else you can place 3 of them in one room and the other in the another room. And similarly for this you will get 4 cases: A, B and D in one, C in one, then again A, D, C in one, and then finally, and this is the 5. Then again you can put 2 of them, combinations of 2 in one each, and then another will be, so AB in one, CD in one. This way you can repeat the other cases, and then finally A in the first room, B in the second room, and CD in the third room. This way that you will get totally 14 different ways. You can solve it and you will find the different kinds of ways of putting 4 different employees into the same room. Similarly, this is for this problem, that is for the third case, we don't have any formula. You have to solve it in this way only. So there is no simple closed formula for the number of ways to distribute n distinguishable objects into I indistinguishable boxes. Similarly, for the last case where both the objects and boxes are indistinguishable, there is no formula. This is your fourth case, and no formula for this also. That is, the third and fourth case don't have any formula. We have to find it by taking the different combinations. Example, there are 9 ways to pack 6 copies of the same book into 4 identical boxes. Let's see this. So over here for the fourth case, we are talking about 6 copies of the same book, 6 copies of the same book into 4 similar boxes. Okay, so what are the different ways? The first way will be placing all the 6 books in one box. Another will be placing 5 in one and 1 in one. Then these are the boxes I am placing, and these are the books. So 4 books in one box and 2 books in another. Or else you can place 4 in one box, 1 each in one box each. Then in 2 boxes you can place 3 books each. Another way will be placing 3 books in one box, 2 in one and then 1. Then 3 in one box, 1 each in on the other 3 boxes, 2 in the 3 boxes, and 2 each in 2 boxes and 1 in one box. So there are 9 ways to pack. So if you consider the number of ways, this is the first way, second way, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. Please check the solution for the same, and if you can find any other way to place the box, there is no other way to place the box. You can try the same problem by taking different numbers, and this fourth case also has no formula. So there is no formula for this case also. Okay, so this concludes the topic of generalized permutations and combinations.